Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Credit Justice Services Video Training Center. I know that all you credit consultants have been waiting for this. I also know that I've been giving you 27 pages of information which you all have not been reading, and that's okay. That's why we are making this video today to help you do two things. Number one is to learn the law, and number two is to help you to achieve your financial goals and your clients the creditworthiness that they deserve.
Like a lot of Americans, I experienced a divorce several years back that set me back financially. And, you know, there were some months it came down to, do I pay my credit cards or do I pay my child support?
Having been on active duty for the past 27 years and having constantly being on deployment, our deployments are pretty lengthy at best, you don't always have control of your finances.
Well, I was going through a divorce, and when we were going through the divorce, I wanted to take on, I said, as long as I get the house, I'll take on all the debt. So that's what happened, but little did I know it was going to be a lot harder than I thought.
Everything that I have been sending you on a weekly basis is going to be seen here today in this video, and it's only going to be for you, the certified credit consultants. Once again, I really want to personally welcome you to the family of Credit Justice Services. And I truly mean that when I write those letters to you, that we are a family. Your whole input has made our company and made my dream come true of being a national credit repair organization. As you will hear from our in-house attorney, Carl Soto, you will learn about the laws, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, about the laws that govern us, which is called the Fair Credit Repair Organization Act. These are very important laws that will keep our company flourishing throughout the next 10 to 15 years. We look forward to helping you, once again, to achieve your financial goals and also to help your clients create the credit scores that they deserve. So let's start off. It all started with the three major credit bureaus. The three major credit bureaus are TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Equifax is the oldest credit reporting agency in the United States. And what happened was that these companies have gotten so big that 79% of all credit reports are inaccurate. 1 out of 4 are so inaccurate that your client is being turned down for a home if you're a realtor, for a loan if you are a mortgage broker or a banker, or your friends that cannot achieve the job that they want because they have just been turned down because of your credit.
Besides just approving people for loans, we can free them from bad credit scores and get them into programs that can give them better rates, better payments, and give us a little bit of a competitive edge. Because as you know, there's so many mortgage brokers, and being able to offer this service sets me aside, and that's something that I'm always looking for.
The Massachusetts Public Interest Research Group, which did a study on the three credit bureaus in 2004, found out that the three major credit bureaus were inaccurate 79% of the time. Let me ask you this question. If you were writing a loan, if you were selling a home, and you were inaccurate 8 out of 10 times, how long would you be in business? My question is to you, why are these people still in business? Carl Soto, my partner and attorney, and I are on a quest to make sure that your client's credit report is accurate, fair, and reporting. That's all we want to do, is we want to make sure in a 75-day process that your credit report is accurate and fair for your clients. We have invented an interactive software that will allow you as a mortgage broker, as a realtor, as a banker, or a person who just wants to help others to be able to come in and interact with your client. We do all the work. All you have to do is just send us the clients and the credit repair. We will take care of everything from that point forward.
I think that one of the things that we pride ourselves in is helping the people in a low-income bracket. And as we all know, everybody has a little problem in their lives. I know that I've had. And the opportunity to get them to the house of their dreams, it's an amazing job, really. And sometimes with the little credit problems, we can help them using Credit Justice Services, and that's what got me involved with Credit Justice Services, because you guys can get them from point A, all the way through and get them to the house of their dreams.
I was able to refinance my house. I had a lot of equity in the house, but unfortunately with bad credit, equity doesn't matter. So Doug repaired my credit, got me refinance, cash out. I paid off all my bad debt, and which increased my credit score even more.
We, on the average, increase credit scores between 50 and 100 points. As you will learn from the legal part from Carl Soto, my partner, that you cannot make any guarantees. But you will hear tonight from our 5,000 client database on what the averages are. That we are allowed to do. That we are allowed to say. So once again, we have an average of increasing your client scores between 50 and 100 points. We do this in a 75-day process. How many of you have already heard about all these internet companies out there? All these internet companies that are repairing credit. But your client never sees the letters, ever sees the letters. So what does that do? Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, there's Section 611 that states, if a third-party administration represents you or your client, that the 3 credit bureaus could consider that frivolous, and disregard the letter. It also states in the same paragraph, but if a consumer disputes the accuracy of their credit report, specifically a trade line, that they, being the 3 bureaus, have 30 days to prove it, or as we say, remove it.
Bottom line is, when I came to Credit Justice Services, my scores were in the mid to low 600s. I had 9 derogatory items on my credit report, and in 30 to 60 days, all of them were deleted, and my credit scores are now in the upper 700s.
That's why at Credit Justice Services, we have your clients or you fill out the letters, just sign them. We make them for you. These are proven letters that work, and to send them for the bureau, to the bureaus. That's why we have a higher deletion ratio than the internet companies. That's very important. We do this in a 75-day process. What do the internet companies do? They do it by the month. Wouldn't it behoove them to extend it, to extend the process? We have to finish in 75 days. That's what we do. First round of letters is 30 days, second round of letters is 30 days, third round of letters is 15. The internet companies send out 3 to 5 letters. The average letters that we have to send out are 35. Do the math. It takes a year and 3 months for the internet companies to get you completed. It takes us at Credit Justice Services 75 days.
One of the big educational bonuses with Credit Justice Services is what it taught me about credit and the way it's reported. It's some of the ways that they determine credit is really beyond my comprehension, but now I know what it is and how it's reported through my experience with Credit Justice Services.
Let me tell you a little bit about how this works. What happens is, if you're a mortgage broker, you're a realtor, you're a banker, you have a client comes in. Your client is at the corner of credit and denial. They want to buy the house, they want to get the car, they want the home, they want the finance, they want to refinance and get out of debt. But what happens? You have to turn them down. You have to turn them down because their credit report is inaccurate. So you turn them down. No more. Your client does not have to leave. You keep that client there. Through Credit Justice Services, give us 75 days. And through that 75-day process, most of the time, we will be able to help your client to achieve the car, to achieve the house, to achieve the home that they deserve. So what will happen is you will have a credit report, you fill out our submission form, and you fax it in to one of our many paralegals at corporate office in Jacksonville, Florida, at Credit Justice Services. The paralegal from that point forward will take your client and through the next 75 days be their customer service agent and take care of them. Every time there is a letter or a note that's sent into your client's file, you will receive an immediate email. That's the interactive software. We keep you abreast of what's happening to your client on a daily and on a monthly basis. You can come in and find out where your client is in the process, what letters were sent out, how many have been deleted. Because if a lot were deleted in the first round of letters, think about it. What can you do? You can get them into that loan, get them into that home of their dreams. That's why we do this, and we do it very accurately at Credit Justice Services.
It's amazing to see the people's faces when we come back around and we actually been able to fix their credit. That's what amazes me, and that's what gets us, you know, really to the house of their dreams. And I'll keep on going back there because it really is at the end getting somebody, you know, the house of their dreams. And Credit Justice Service has definitely done that for us and our business.
I had a borrower who was at a 580 score. He was a self-employed borrower, so he had a lot of different stipulations that we were dealing with, and it just wasn't happening. And rather than having to turn him away, I just suggested, listen, you know, right now we can't make this happen, but I'm a credit counselor and I'd love to be able to assist you. If you give me 75 days, I could clean up your credit anywhere from 50 to 100 points, and we can get this job done. We'll get you qualified in better programs and get you a better payment. If you're willing to be patient, you know, this doesn't have to end here.
The first round of letters, what we do is we just ask the 3 credit bureaus to confirm the accuracy. That's it. Confirm the accuracy. That's all we're asking for. Okay? After 30 days, the assigned paralegal to your client's file will call up your client and say, hello, Mrs. Jones. Please remember to send us in all the reports that were sent to you from the credit bureaus, because they have 30 days to respond. Okay? Once that happens, then the paralegal will write up the second round of letters. And the second round of letters that we work are 4 basic things. Either the credit bureau says, this is accurate. And it's amazing. When the credit bureau say this is accurate, they don't show any signatures. They don't show any proof. They don't show us anything. They just say, this is accurate. So instead of us saying, oh, okay, we ask them to prove the accuracy, because in the Fair Credit Reporting Act, they must show us the policies and procedures that they use to prove this. We just don't give up. We help your client move forward. The second thing is deleted. Hey, if it's deleted, guess what? We win. It's a fantastic thing, and we do win a lot at Credit Justice Services. The third thing that you will see is that they'll say, I need more information. Isn't that wonderful? Why do you think the credit bureaus need more information? They're buying time. That's all they're doing. We'll let them buy another 30 days. We'll send out a letter saying, here's the information. Now you have 30 days. Again, that's the second round of letters. So what happens then is we then call up your client. The paralegal will call up your client and say, hi, Mrs. Jones, your second round of letters are now prepared. Please go on our internet, the secured internet site, and pull them off. And then we give them instructions, just like the first round of letters, on how to send them out to the credit bureau. We then give the credit bureau 30 days. Once again, we give them another 30 days, okay? Because we have to by law. After the 30 days from the second round of letters, their certified credit consultant or your paralegal will then call up your client again and say, Mrs. Jones, please send in the letters that the credit bureau sent you. What happens is, from the second round of letters, you're going to see 3 things. Either this is verified. Guess what happens? Guess what kind of verification they show us? Nothing. They show us absolutely nothing again. After the second round of letters, we said, you showed us nothing the first time. Now you're showing us nothing again, which is good for us. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, that's good for us. Okay? Because then we send out a third letter saying, now you have 15 days to respond, or you're going against the Federal Trade Commission, of which will be explained in the legal part. The second thing that happens, deleted. The second round of letters, if it says deleted, we win again, which happens a lot in the second round of letters. Because when we ask for them to verify their verification, they can't do it. They know we win. They send back a letter. Okay, and then the third thing is no response. The credit bureaus on the second round of letters just won't send you a letter. Isn't that beautiful? We win again. So then what happens is the paralegal will then make a third round of letters for your client, and then call up your client and say, Mrs. Jones, please go on our internet site. Your third round of letters are now prepared, and now the credit bureaus only have 15 days to respond, of which your client will get a call after 15 days and ask the credit bureaus to bring in their letters so that we may now come up with a clear and concise vision in how we were able to clean up your client's credit.
We got the process rolling, and in 75 days, his score went up 100 points. So we went from a 550 to a 650. And he was just ecstatic.
This 75-day process, on the average, has increased credit scores between 50 and 100 points. That is our experience. There's a couple ways that I'd like to teach you as a mortgage broker, as a realtor, or just as a person who wants to make extra money on how to increase credit scores immediately. I own a company, it was a fairly large mortgage company called Fulcrum Financing, and what I did was I learned these ways, okay, on how to increase my clients' credit scores immediately. And this is it. Credit cards. If you have somebody that's trying to get into a house, that's trying to get into a loan, how many of you all know that if you have a credit card, you have a limit? Let's say it's a $1,000 limit. Once you go above 40% of that credit limit, you're going to get hit 10%. 10 points on your credit report you will lose going 40% above that. So if you have an outstanding bill on a $1,000 credit card of $401, you lose 10%. You lose 10 points, excuse me. If you go above 50% of the limit, you will then lose 20 points. 60%, 30 points. 30 points you will lose off your credit report, just like that, because you have went above the 60% limit that the credit card companies and the credit bureaus say, oh, that's a no-no.
Credit Justice has just an awesome program. Their customer service also is incredible. I think that it's one thing to do business with people, but when you do business with people that care and get the job done, that's made a difference for me and my customers, so keeps me rolling.
I just looked at a credit report actually just a couple days ago. They had no derogatories on this credit. They had no collections. The credit report was a 580 Beacon score. He had 9 credit cards maxed. 9. So what are we going to do? We're going to refinance him, pay off those credit cards, and he'll be in the 700s, easy, within a few weeks. But he's going to have to handle a high interest rate because of his negligence on the credit cards. So credit cards is the first thing. I must tell you that there are absolutely, and please remember this, and Carl Soto, the in-house attorney, will go over this with you, there are no guarantees. There are absolutely no guarantees. But we can tell you, once again, the facts and figures that we have in our system. I want to tell you a little bit what hurts your credit report the most. What will hurt your client the most? Number 1, tax liens. Tax liens are going to hurt you somewhere about 100 points. The second, judgments. Judgments will hurt you about 50 points. The third thing, profit and loss write-off. If you see a profit and loss write-off on a credit report, what does that mean to you? Well, I'll tell you. That means the creditor, or the person that extended you credit, Bank of America, Chase Manhattan, Providian credit card, the people who extended you credit, you defaulted on that trade line. They looked at your credit report and they said, this person is not even going to be able to pay. So we're going to write this off on our taxes. And the government will give them 25% back in the amount that they wrote off. Well, guess who the government's going to come after? You. It's going to be you that they're going to come after, and they're going to say that your income has increased by that 25% that they just give away. Most people don't know that, but that is a true statement, called profit and loss write-off. The next thing is called collections. Okay? Collections, that hurts you somewhere about 20 points. And so what we try to do is get those collections removed immediately. And the third things are lates, the 30-day lates, the 60-day lates, the 90-day lates. That hurts you about 10 points. All right? And the main reason why I'm telling you this is because sometimes you're going to get credit reports that you're going to want to make sure that the person doesn't have the money, but you want to make sure you go after the big meat. If you see a tax lien that's already been paid off, we can remove that 80% of the time. The government's been very good about that. So let me tell you a little bit about what can get removed and how we can remove it for you. Okay? If you have a trade line that's been there for over 7 years, it all goes from the date of last activity. Okay, the date of last activity on your credit report. If it's been over 7 years, that needs to be removed. If it's not removed, get it off that credit report, because the credit bureaus get paid for data. They sell data. The more data they sell, the more money they make. So they keep it on all the time. We can get that removed absolutely 80% of the time. if it's been over 7 years, okay? The first thing I would like to talk about, though, is if you have a credit report and you have a trade line that's in dispute, if it's under 1 year from the date of last activity, that date that's on your credit report, we normally win about 30% of the time. If it's over a year, we'll win about 50% of the time. If it's over 2 years from the date of last activity and we dispute it, we will win 70% of the time. If it's been paid off and paid in full, tax liens, collections, we can get that removed 80% of the time. That comes from our database, okay? So by knowing what is the worst, tax liens, judgments, profit and loss write-offs, collections, lates, and the ability of getting it removed 1 year, over 1 year, 2 years, and paid off, you can give your client some great advice. So now you're not just a mortgage broker, you're a certified credit consultant. You're not just a realtor, you're truly helping your client to achieve the homes and to achieve the finances that they deserve.
Fixing your credit, having your credit prepared to buy your home is the first thing that you should look at. And with Credit Justice Service, 90 days it's done. That's why we love Credit Justice Services at Brokers Real Estate Group.
1, 2, 3, they take care of the letters for you. They keep in touch with you, let you know when things are going out. They email me so that way I can keep in touch with my borrower. It's just a total team effort, and it's awesome. I can count on them, they can count on me, and my borrower can count on good service all the way around.
It's truly amazing what we could do. And I owe this all to you. I really do. I owe all this to the certified credit consultants that came on just like you, that help clients, that spread the message. We're about 600 deep, and we went national in April. You all should be very, very proud of yourself. There's one other thing I want to leave you with. This is the way the credit scoring goes. From a 730 to an 850 is considered excellent. From a 729 to a 680, that is considered good. From a 679 to a 620 is considered fair. From a 619 to a 500 is considered poor. Below 500, you're not getting any federal financing. So I ask you this question: where do you fall? Let us help you help yourself. I thank you for choosing Credit Justice Services, for helping you and your clients.
Words can't express how it changed me. I can walk into any car dealership and just sign some papers without any down payment. I get the best credit rates when you go to get a mortgage or refinance, and it's incredible.
It has changed my life tremendously. I can't express how much happier I am. My stress level is not near as bad as it was. My kids are happier. I'm happier. I have peace of mind that I did the right thing in trusting Credit Justice Services.
The total 75 days, my credit score increased immensely, to the point now that I'm able to get 100% finance, and that's all due to Credit Justice Services.
It is very important for a certified credit consultant to know how to read a credit report. There are 4 basic sections on all credit reports. Let's take a look at an example of a credit report and identify its sections. Section 1, Score Information. Before we get started, let's identify some acronyms for the different credit bureaus. The acronym EFX equals Equifax. The acronym TU equals TransUnion, and the acronym XPN equals Experian. It is important that all 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, are listed with a credit score. This will enable Credit Justice Services to dispute the 3 credit bureaus and monitor the improvement of the scores. The scores are rated as follows. From 850 to 730 is an excellent rating. From 729 to 680 is a good rating. From 679 to 620 is a fair rating. and from 619 to 500 is a poor rating. Section 2. Trade lines and derogatory trade lines. Derogatory trade lines are trade lines that are negative or count against your credit score. These are normally late payments or trade lines that went to collections. There are 5 pieces of information on every credit report trade line. The first is name, the name of the creditor that extended credit. Second is account number, the number that is assigned to the creditor's trade line. The third is explanation, information that tells you whether the trade line is open, closed, profit and loss write-off, or if it went to collections. Date opened, the date that the account was opened. Date reported, the date that the creditor reported to the credit bureaus. And date of last activity, or DLA, the date that the consumer had last action with the creditor. This is the most important date. All laws and percentages of removal are based around this date. If you dispute a trade line whose date of last activity is more than 2 years, you have a 70% chance of removal. And the 5th piece of information on every credit report trade line is credit limit and balance owed. Every debt has a credit limit and a balance owed, but those items are especially important for credit card. If someone charges more than 40% of a limit on their credit card, they automatically lose 10 points on their credit score. If they charge more than 50%, they lose 20 points, and so on. Dividing the credit card balance into credit limit will give you the percentage of debt. Section 3. Collection information. This section lists the accounts that were sent from your original creditors to the collection agency. Most of the items listed in this section have the same definition as items listed in the derogatory trade section, with 2 exceptions. The first exception is dates. Date opened. Date opened represents the date that the collection agency received the debt. The longer the agency has had the debt, the easier it is to remove. And the date reported represents the date the collection agency reported it to the credit bureau. The second exception is the account name, which represents the collection agency that is working the debt. The original creditor must be on the trade line. And the 4th section of any credit report is public record information. A derogatory trade line can list up to 3 credit bureaus on one line. A public record trade line lists a single credit agency. Therefore, one tax lien or judgment may show up 3 separate times. Public record information consists of the following. Tax liens. These are issued by the government and may stay on a credit report forever unless paid or disputed. And judgments. These are issued by private entities, such as credit card companies or private lenders, and will stay on a credit report for 10 years unless paid or disputed.
Hello everyone, my name is Carl Soto. I'm an attorney and Vice President for Credit Justice Services. I'm going to cover today information that involves the legal environment in which you need to operate. I'll be covering specifically 2 items. First, the legal rules and regulations that apply to credit repair organizations, which is what we do. And second, the legal rules that apply to credit reporting agencies. That would be Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Those are the agencies with whom we go to bat against on behalf of our clients. Turning first to the laws that apply to credit reporting agencies, that would be the Fair Credit Reporting Act. That's a law that was enacted in 1971 that provides, among other things, credit reporting agencies have to abide by certain standards. They have to adopt reasonable procedures in reporting the information. More importantly, they have to verify information that's been disputed within 30 days. If they cannot verify this information within 30 days, it has to be stricken from their credit report. Now that's a key provision, and that is the very heart of what we do. We review our client's credit report, we find items that are disputable, we file letters with the credit bureaus disputing those items, and we demand that they remove them within 30 days. If they fail to do so, the item has to be removed. What you need to remember is that there are certain laws that govern what you can and cannot do. That would be the Credit Repair Organization Act. It's a federal statute that provides that people like yourselves who are involved in the business of helping others improve their credit cannot make any promises. Now this is very important. You can't promise anyone that you can increase their credit scores by any fixed amount. All you do is help consumers enforce their rights under the federal statutes, specifically the Fair Credit Reporting Act. As long as you remember that, Don't make any promises. Remember that your clients have 3 days to cancel the contract and never collect any money up front. You'll be fine. I look forward to a very long and profitable relationship with you and to continuing to help the public get the credit they deserve. Thank you.